another video. My name is Josh Kastic, and today I'm going to be talking about villains that can be in Super Smash Bros. For franchises that are in the game that don't have villains. Alright, things I'm going to be discluding. Pit has a villain, even though it's an Echo Fighter. Dark Pit still counts as a villain, and therefore I will not be talking about Kid Icarus, which is the game where Pit comes from. Alright? Also, I will not be talking about franchises that don't have villains, because why would I talk about them if they don't have villains? It wouldn't make sense. And then Yoshi, although the Yoshi in the game comes from its own franchise, which it does have its own franchise, but it first started as a Mario character, and therefore some of the villains overlap. And I'm only talking about they don't have villains, and therefore if villains cross over to Yoshi, Yoshi still has a villain in the game, like Bowser or his children. Alright? So Yoshi I will not be talking about. Okay? And that's all the information, and now let's begin. Now before we begin, if you were watching my Nintendo Direct reaction, you know I was trying to look for Spirit Pillar because I thought that they removed Spirit Pillar for Super Smash Bros. 4, which I'm pretty sure they did. Alright? So what I did is I took a picture of the stages, alright, and then made it bigger to see where Spirit Pillar is. Now, if you look from this image, you know for a fact that I think I found it, alright? I circled it, the stage I think is Spirit Pillar, and labeled it Spirit Pillar for the purpose of this video, okay? So the reason why I think this is Spirit Pillar, well, it looks like ruins, it's dark, almost blue, and it looks like there's a space in back, which is exactly what Spirit Pillar is. But I wasn't really sure because it doesn't really look like Spirit Pillar, and most likely the case is because they updated it for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It's very possible, and I get that. Alright, so to make sure that this is Spirit Pillar, I looked up online to see the order of which the stages were released, because that's what they said in the Nintendo Direct, that the stages are in order from which they were released. I couldn't find that, but I found the Super Smash Bros. Brawl stage list on Wiki, depending on what pages. There's so many of those pages. It's just not Wikipedia, I'll tell you that's for sure. It's not that. But I looked up there, and I went to the unlockable stages. Alright, guys, so I found the proof. I'm pretty sure that this proves that what I found is Spirit Pillar. So let's go check it out. Alright, so this proof that you're looking at right now, it's off of Super Smash Bros. Brawl Wiki. There's so many of those pages. I'm just saying both. It literally could be any of them. But on this is the unlockable stages, but only 3 of them. With Spirit Pillar, I took a picture of it and stuff. Alright, so we have Pirate Ship and Spirit Pillar and the Donkey Kong stage that's based off of the arcade game, which is also represented in the movie Pixel. I'm pretty sure that's the name, where, you know, the humans send the arcade games up to, you know, space, and then the aliens created, like, living versions of the games and then sent them back and all that. So, but that's with that. So, now that I have this is proof of why what I think is Spirit Pillar is Spirit Pillar. Now, let's go back to that image for the stages with the circle, what I think is Spirit Pillar, and to show you how this proof proves that that stage I think is Spirit Pillar. So let's go. Alright, so now looking at the stage which I think is Spirit Pillar, now look at the stages before and after it, alright? Okay, you see it now. The stage right before what I think is Spirit Pillar is in fact Pirate Ship. Alright, just like on that other page we just saw earlier. Then is what I think is Spirit Pillar, and what's right after it? the Donkey Kong stage, one with the ladders, right after it. So, this proves that what I think is Spear Pillar is Spear Pillar. But I could still be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is in fact Spear Pillar. And in order to find that out, we'll just have to wait till the actual game comes out or they release it in a trailer. Alright? Now let's move on to the characters, villains of Super Smash Bros. That we can add. Alright, so since we're starting off with Pokemon, and you can see that in back of me, what you see the image, right? What we're seeing, it's Team Rocket Grunts. I feel like Pokemon as a whole will be the easiest way to put a villain in. Just add a Team Rocket Grunt to the Pokemon Trainer character. They already have the female, so add the Team Rocket Grunt. It'll just have a different colored Charizard, Ivysaur, and Squirtle, and you could pretty much be it. But I'd like to go over another what we can do. Alright, so yes, we could still have the Team Rocket Grunt, and that's what I'm going to be showing right now. That's what I'm showing. But we could have a character kind of like Bowser's Children, where when you change the color, it's actually, instead of changing the color, you have different, like, people. I think they have similar moves, but I could be wrong about that. But you could switch, and it's also like Olimar, where you have Olimar, and then when you switch, it's a different character, and that was in Super Smash 4, Super Smash Bros. 4. So what we could do is have all the evil team leaders, alright, all the team leaders, and you switch depending on which one you want. And they all have their differences. Like, one thing, like Giovanni will have Persian, and Persian's moveset. You will have Team Aqua and Team Magma, Maxi, and I don't know, I forgot his name. It's been a while, but Archie, yeah, Maxi and Archie, that's right. And they would have both Campra and Sharpedo. Maxi would have Campra and Archie would have Sharpedo. Team Galactic, we have Cyrus. I don't remember what his Pokemon is, but he will have his own Pokemon. And then we have Team Plasma, which Getsis will have Hydreigon. And then we would have Lysander with Pyroar. Okay? So, those are the... and I think... I'm not sure how many there are, how many colors you could change. But if there's still room, you can have Team Skull and Team Plasma. Team Skull, you can have Guzma with Galithopod. And for Team... what did I say? I think I said Team Skull... And I think I messed up earlier, but what I meant was the Ether Paradise team. I don't know she could have, Lucamine could have a Ultra Beast, but I don't know, because she doesn't really have a main, Pokemon, so I would technically go with an Ultra Beast, but I don't know what's the limit on how many colors or stuff like that. But yeah, you can have something like that, and I think that would definitely be an interesting idea to use. Alright, so let's move on to the next franchise in Pokemon in Super Smash Bros. And yeah, let's go. Okay. So, Sonic. And back this image, you see a lot of villains. A lot of potential. Mostly, if you're going to add main villains, alright, Dr. Eggman is the best choice. Like, the number one villain for Sonic is Dr. Eggman. He's a really good choice. And I definitely think it would definitely be an interesting character for Super Smash Bros. Brawl. He has mostly he would have a lot of robots too, maybe on his final Smash. But if they're not going to necessarily add a villain, and they're going to add a Echo Fighter, Shadow is a definitely good character for an Echo Fighter. See, Shadow isn't necessarily a villain per se. It's more of a anti-hero. Basically, he's not really on the side of Sonic, but he shows potential of doing good because that's what he really wants. But really a lot of times he got tricked by Dr. Eggman. He's a lot of times more of a rival to Sonic more than anything. But even then, I still kind of count him as somewhat a villain in that case. And I think if they're going to add an Echo Fighter, which they really want to add a lot of Echo Fighters to much of people's dismay, because it seems a lot of people don't want Echo Fighters, but it's definitely an interesting case. It's not the first time that they did an Echo Fighter villain. The Dark Pit, in that case, is an Echo Fighter 2 Pit and still is a villain. So it is definitely possible that they choose Sonic, but if they're really going to go with mainstream villains, Dr. Eggman is the best route to go. But we do have other characters, as you can tell in this image, and hopefully they'll add the one of these character villains for Sonic. Alright, so let's move on. Alright, so Fire Emblem. Well, these are some of the villains for Fire Emblem. I don't know much about Fire Emblem, so you guys who do know Fire Emblem more than me, you guys can figure that out. But a little bit what I have to say about Fire Emblem is that, well, there's already too many characters in Fire Emblem, and I have to say none of them are villains. They just added Chrom. I think that's how you say it. And I definitely looked up. He's not a villain, but he's a popular character for Fire Emblem that they wanted in Super Smash Bros. And he finally got in. But still, Mario has a lot of characters, but most of them are like villains, okay? Where all the Fire Emblem characters aren't villains. I mean, like, why? You had many opportunities to put a villain from Fire Emblem in, and you keep insisting not to. I mean, like, I kind of sick of Fire Emblem, like a lot of people. A lot of people are like upset there's too many Fire Emblem characters. If they're going to add another Fire Emblem character, add a villain, and I'm okay with that. But since they haven't added a villain, that's what annoys me. I mean, why not have a villain? I mean, I guess one person told me that the Fire Emblem villains aren't that memorable, but still, add a Fire Emblem villain. I literally can't state it any more than that. I mean, but yeah. So that's pretty much all I have to say about Fire Emblem, and let's move on. Alright, so, Metal Gear Solid. Snake is the main character, and he got into Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And then they take him out for Super Smash Bros. 4 because Nintendo and the creator of Metal Gear Solid were not on the best of terms. And then comes Ultimate, and Snake is back. So, and I think I heard that they're back on the great terms, but I could be wrong about that. But now's their chance to finally add a villain. They probably won't, but they have this chance, and, well, these are the villains they could choose from to put into the game. So you guys, like, down in the comments section, tell me what villain do you think from Metal Gear Solid will join the game, and especially which ones from that you think from this list that I'm showing you right here. Yeah, let's move on. Alright, so, Street Fighter. Well, I really don't know much about Street Fighter either. There's a lot of franchises I don't know because I'm not really a gamer, but, what it was interesting is that, well, guys, Zangief is actually from Street Fighter. And I don't know if you've seen Wreck-It Ralph, which is like one of the best animated movies out there. Oh man, that movie was awesome. And in the beginning, it has like Wreck-It Ralph talking to many villains and stuff. And one of them was Zangief. And, well, what he said was kind of weird and funny, but weird. But, so, let's have Zangief. Yeah. From Wreck-It Ralph, we have Zangief for Street Fighter as a villain. Alright? There's no other villain you could add. Just add Zangief. Alright? Just add Zangief. Alright? Yeah, just add Zangief. Hashtag, let's add Zangief. Alright? Yeah, that's all I can say. Just add Zangief. Alright? Let's move on. Okay. So, Final Fantasy. Definitely heard of it. I saw trailers of, I think, the recent Final Fantasy game that came out. It's definitely interesting. They added Cloud to Super Smash Bros. 4. And I saw a reaction of someone who plays Final Fantasy and Super Smash Bros. Was really excited and happy. Like, he was, like, really happy and, like, surprised, too. But, like I said, I don't really know, like, this game, and, but this is just, what I'm showing you here is just a list of villains they could add. They need to at least add one villain, and, I mean, they only have one Final Fantasy character in there, so it would definitely be a, interesting idea to add a villain to Final Fantasy, or add a villain to Super Smash Bros. For Final Fantasy. Alright? Well, that's pretty much it, and let's move on. F-Zero is an interesting idea. It combines superheroes and racing. They call the character in Super Smash Bros. The main character is Captain Falcon. He's not really a captain according to this YouTube that I was watching, but that really makes sense. It's a racing game. He's a hero, but Captain is just like a name in this case more than a title. But I never played the game. I wouldn't know, but I've seen like, you know, gameplay of it and stuff like that, but the thing is that I think the last F-Zero game was Melee. There's not one on the Wii, the Wii U or the Switch, but the Switch is a new thing. They could bring out a new game. I'm actually surprised they haven't created a new game, but the creators haven't done that, which is like really weird. But these are just possible villains they could add, and that's all I can say because I really don't know much about the game. So, yeah, let's move on. Alright, so Earthbound. Earthbound is a interesting game. Ness and Lucas, it's basically kids with powers. That's my understanding of it. They're pretty powerful. I think Lucas is more of an echo fighter of Ness, but I don't even know because I think they do have differences though. That's probably why they haven't announced them and either one of them as echo fighters, but they have similarities. I'm pretty sure there's some things that are the same, but I think there is some differences. I could be wrong. I don't usually play Ness and Lucas, so I don't really know all their moves and stuff, but they need to add a villain, and what I found was Porky Minch. As you can tell from this image, he looks like, I'm pretty sure he's the one in the robotic thing, with claws, but I don't know why they haven't added a villain yet. Ness and Lucas has been in the game for a while now, and they need a villain. And it would definitely be, if Ness or Lucas are pretty interesting, and it would be interesting if they add a villain. There's nothing much more to say about that, and so let's move on. Okay, Punch It Out. A Wii game. I own a Wii. Never played it. But, that doesn't really matter, because that's not really what the point of this video is. But, they added Little Mac to Smash 4 from, Punch It Out, and, his punch is broken, but his jumping is bad. So, as long as you stay on this stage and do a lot of punching and don't go anywhere near the edge, you're golden. Alright? But, they added Lil Mac. He needs a villain. At first, I didn't think he needed a villain, I didn't know if he had a villain because I thought he's more like, it's more of like just those boxing games. There isn't any villains, but I looked it up. He has a villain, and the villain I found is Aran Ryan, and as you guys can tell, he's another boxer, and there isn't really much to say. He can add them, probably have more of an echo fighter. He can have pretty much the same moves as Little Mac, but other than that, because they're adding a lot of echo fighters to much people's dismay, but it seems that they kind of felt like this new echo fighter thing is kind of a new thing, and they want to add as many echo fighters as they can. Also, they said, people are saying, oh, echo fighters just take up space for like brand new characters. Well, you know what? Well, we added a feature where you could just combine the echo fighter and the main character, so it won't take up any more space. Literally. Okay, I guess. It works. It's a cool feature. All right, but other than that, this is about Punch It Out, and Aran Ryan's will be a good echo fighter or just a fighter to add to the game, and for a villain for Little Mac. Alright, so let's move on. Bayonetta. Interesting character. Kind of dark character, looks like. But from what I've learned, watching a video, or one video, they said that Bayonetta was a surprise, which you could really say about like any new character that you didn't really expect to get in. But in this case, there was a rumor about Bayonetta getting the game, but the guy said I don't really believe that because they said that Bayonetta's a little high rated and they wouldn't think it would get into Super Smash Bros. Now, I could be wrong about that. It's been a while since I saw the video, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said. But I could be wrong. I never played Bayonetta, so guys who did play Bayonetta, you can tell me what your thoughts on Bayonetta got into the game and what the real rating of Bayonetta is. Now, the villain that I found is Father Baldur. He seems, from what I read, is a main character, and definitely be an interesting add-in. Yeah, I know Bayonetta is one of those third-party games that got in because it's not Nintendo, but like I said, it's a franchise in the game, and just add a villain. I mean, we need a villain, and I think Father Baldur is a great idea to add. So that's pretty much it, and so let's move on. Alright, so Exoblade, I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, so guys who like the series, sorry, I think it's Exoblade? Exoblade? I don't know, it could be wrong, I don't know how to pronounce it, but, Shulk, the character from the series, he's a really good character, for fighter, I mean, for Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I know a lot of people like using him, including my friend. Check him out at Asteroid X Armageddon, my friend. That's his channel. Check him out. He's a really good YouTuber too. And he also has that series my Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Warriors that we both made. Go check that out too. It's really good. But yeah, this is about Shulk. He's a really good character, and he needs a villain. Alright? The villain I found is Zanza. Yeah, Zanza. I'm pretty sure that's how it's pronounced. I can't tell if it's a she or a guy. In the picture I picked, it's a guy. In many other pictures, it looks like a girl, but I don't even know because this is like all kind of types of weird. But there's a lot of like different pictures and stuff, so I just went with this. But he's what I read, he's like the main villain from what I read. But you guys can put down in the comment section which villain you would want from the series if you played the game. And yeah, Zenza is the villain that I found, and that's pretty much it. Let's move on. Well, actually, this is the last. So yeah. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment below from which franchise, what villain you want for the game, and why you want it. And thank you. Goodbye.